What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So if you caught the last video, you know we are setting up shop here in this little 2-car garage of mine, and it's a really exciting time because I'm buying tools, and anytime you're buying tools, it's freaking awesome and I want to share it with you. So that being said, one of the first tools to come in for the new shop here is our miter saw, and it's not black and yellow. I mentioned this in the last video, but this saw, this brand, I've never owned a tool from this brand, but this saw accomplishes what I needed to for the space that we're in. So we'll see. I'm gonna open it up, unbox it right now, and kind of tell you guys why I chose it. So let's check it out. All right, moment of truth here. No backing out now. Well, there you have it, Makita for the shop saw. I never thought I would buy a Makita miter saw ever. Not that I had anything against them, I've just always been a DeWALT guy. But for the space that I have in here, this saw fit my needs the most, so I went with this one. And earlier when I said there's no turning back now, I was just being dramatic. If I don't like this thing, I'll return it. I'm not scared to return a tool. So now that you know what saw I chose, let's open it up and see what it's made of. All right, so starting out, we have a nice big gash on this side of the box. Hopefully they didn't drop this thing too hard, but before we pop this open, I'm gonna spin it around and go over some of the specs with you on this. Like I said, this is the Makita. This is the 12-inch cordless sliding compound miter saw, and the model number is right here, XSL08PT. Now, cordless, right? Why did I go with cordless in a permanent shop setup? Well, part of the reason was I work a lot in the field, and if I want to take this thing to the field and use it on a job site and have that cordless capability, I want to be able to do that, because there's a lot of times when I don't feel like running an extension cord, or I have the saw set up so far from the power source that I need multiple extension cords. So having that battery capability is just awesome. I love it. And one other thing, the AWS, which is auto wireless start, to my knowledge only works on these cordless tools. Now, I could be wrong about that, but from my research, that's what it seemed like. Now, auto wireless start is basically Bluetooth. You could pair this saw with a Makita vacuum, and as soon as you pull the trigger on this saw, it kicks the vacuum on and communicates with it via Bluetooth, and then dust extraction begins. So pretty cool. I want to kind of keep this place pretty clean as far as dust goes. I mean, it's a wood shop, it's gonna get dusty. I will have a dust collection system that is gonna be for my bigger machines in here, but I didn't wanna run a hose and a blast gate just for the miter saw. So like anything, this could all change. I might end up running a hose from my dust collection system, but that's kind of the idea and why I went with cordless. So there you go, let's open it up. So here's a look at what you see opening this thing up. A couple of tools for it in here. Just take those off to the side. It's like a dust extraction hose, and the saw itself. And the good news is that gash in the box, it looks like it didn't hit anything, so we're good on that. What we got here, this is our charger. That is a gigantic charger. Wow, that's crazy. These batteries are huge. Oh no, these batteries really aren't that big. Why is that charger so huge? And they shipped this thing with the batteries installed. And these batteries, they are super basic looking. Like, they don't look like the DeWALT and Milwaukee batteries I'm used to. They don't have any kind of like rubber body to them or protection or anything. Pretty interesting there. Okay, here's a look at a Milwaukee 5 amp hour. And it's got that over molding and kind of a design to it. But this Makita, I mean, kind of looks like it's from the late 80s as far as power tools go. But I really don't care about that. As long as it works, it doesn't have to be flashy. But flashy kind of helps sometimes. So we're gonna go ahead and pull her out of here. Now, I have heard this thing is freaking heavy. So let me give you my first impression. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely heavy. And the DeWALT is heavy at that. So we got a blade and a dust bag. Dust bag probably won't get much use. Blade will probably get a ton of use. And I'm so happy they threw in a blade, which I think they should have. I mean, this is an $1,100 kit right here. So pretty steep price on this. Glad it came with the blade. We'll put that on. And then it looks like the rest of this is owner's manual and just auto wireless start stuff. So I'll keep that too, but that's the unboxing. The box is empty. First impression of this thing, just looking at it, it is a beautiful tool. A nice looking piece of machinery, if you ask me. So if it performs as good as it looks, I think we are gonna be good to go. So I'm gonna throw these batteries on the charger. We'll get our mounting plate out for our cut hub, and we'll see how this thing operates. This thing is huge. Why is this so big? Look at this. This is a Milwaukee charger. This is, I don't know, to charge this battery, it doesn't seem like you really need that big of a charge. What do I know? The good people at Makita know what they're doing. And over here at DeWALT, we kind of have no idea. But if I like this whole setup, we will have DeWALT shirts coming out. Now you notice I'm wearing my DFW Crown shirt. This goes way back. If you were here when this channel was still called DFW Crown, leave me a comment, because that was a long time ago. So yeah, DeWALT shirts dropping this Black Friday, maybe. Nice, I hear the internal fans running to prevent overheating. And this must be a fast charger. So that's always good. Fast chargers, rapid chargers, I love them. They really save you a lot of time from waiting around for batteries to charge. So we'll let those charge and we'll set up our bracket. So setting up this bracket is pretty simple. They give you these little spacer shims, and then this thing moves up and down. So you basically just follow the instructions, choose what shim you need for your saw height, and then there's these little threaded stop screws that kind of stop it from moving around. So that one's in position, and then I need this one for up here. Next thing we got to do, take our little threaded knob, and then we could pop our grabber on here, this little adjustable clamp, but we got to take that off first and then thread it through this hole. Once we get it threaded through enough, I'll snap that clamp on there, pop it on. Same thing on the other side, and that's actually what holds the whole saw to the aluminum tubes on the cut hub. So our mounting bracket is now ready to install on these aluminum rails right here. And once we get that on, we can position the miter saw and see how close we want to get it to the wall. What? Oh, it's going to take some getting used to with this thing. Knew I should have worked on those deadlifts a little bit more. That looks freaking awesome. This one definitely gets the whistle of approval just on how it looks. This looks like a heavy duty, high quality piece of machinery, and it is really smooth feeling. The slide on it feels smooth. Just the pull on the saw to come down to make a cut feels smooth. And we'll check this right here. We'll see if this feels smooth. Yep, that's butter right there. So everything about the functionality of it, of those three functions, feels really good. And then one thing I'll say too, one of the big reasons I chose this saw is because the clearance you can get up against the wall. You would not get that kind of clearance right there with a DeWALT miter saw. It's just not gonna happen. So that's a big reason why I chose this, because I can get all of this pushed up against the wall and still have space out here to bring a bunch of other machines in. So really, really pleased with this so far. What I need to do next is figure out exactly where I'm gonna mount this on this bracket and then drill the holes out for it. I'll probably do that off camera because you guys have seen me do that with the cut hub in the past. But you can see right here too, I'm pretty much at the end of the cut hub bracket, and I'm at the end where I can be as far as clearance up against the wall. Now I could go straight up against the wall, but that's good enough right there for me. So this thing should be good to go. I'm gonna throw a blade on it, and dang, I don't have anything to cut. Yeah, I threw everything away when we moved, so I don't have anything to cut. I'll cut a piece of that cherry over there. We'll give it a good run on some cherry first. So yeah, this is gonna be cool. Up here on the dashboard, I guess I'll call it, we got a little battery indicator to tell us how charged our batteries are. And then we have our laser, which I never had a miter saw with a laser. I'm used to having the shadow line. I haven't heard good things about the laser, but apparently on this one, it's good to go. You can dial it in where you want it. We will see about that. So it's got the laser, you can turn it on and off here. And let's hear how it sounds together for the first time. I'm not gonna adjust the audio or do anything. This doesn't have a blade on it. So I'm just gonna turn the saw on. Let's hear it. That sounds so smooth. That sounds even smoother than the flex volts. The flex volts are kind of crazy. When they're corded, they sound really rough, but when you put batteries on them, they sound a lot smoother. And this sounds even smoother than those. So hopefully, I'm really liking this saw. Hopefully this thing works out, because everything about it so far, I like. It seems like a really nice piece of equipment. All right, that is nice and tight, so we should be good. And just so you know, I did take one of the batteries out before I did that blade change. Just want to mention that. So we're actually not going to be cutting a piece of cherry for our first cut. We're going to be cutting this severely cupped piece of ash. This is a leftover from my floating shelves in our kitchen of our last house. But the reason I'm cutting this and not the cherry is because this board is like 11 1/4. And this thing cross cuts about 14 1/2, but that piece of cherry is like 22 inches wide. So not gonna work here. So we're gonna cross cut this. No dust collection. Just gonna let the dust fly. And this is the first cut in the shop of hopefully many more to follow. So here we go. That was amazing. In all seriousness, that was probably the most buttery feeling cut I have ever made on a miter saw. No joke. Through something that thick, it handled it like a dream. This is not a sponsored video. I bought this thing outright, but my reaction right now to cutting this is a huge 6/4 by 11 1/4 piece of ash, which is not a soft wood. And that was dreamy. That was amazing. I might start looking into more Makita stuff because that was an absolute delight to make that cut. Very, very pleased with this thing so far. So one other thing I'll talk about is, since this is a compound slider that does bevel in both directions, you just loosen it up right here and then it'll bevel left and right. But to get it to go right, you got to do a little bypass right here and then get it to go. Now you do have to remove these fences right here, which these fences are amazing. They're like the highest fences I've ever seen on a factory saw. And then you can make your bevel cuts. But yeah, this thing right here, this is like blowing me away right now, how smooth everything on this feels. It just, I feel like it is a step above the DeWALT, and only time will tell. This is my first day, obviously using it, opening it up and everything like that. But it is very, very impressive. It's making me really want to buy some more Makita stuff right now. All right, I know I said I wasn't gonna make another cut, but I just have to. I got nothing. Oh, I got one thing. If anything ever needed a whistle of approval, Vince is texting me right now. He guessed it right. So in the comments of the last video, I said, who wants to guess what saw I'll be getting? Because it's not black and yellow. And Vince said, Makita, and he was right. So dang, I had never been happier with a tool purchase than I am right now. If that says anything about the way I feel about this, that is a bold statement to make, and I just made it.